So I want to recognize the deans, Provost Locklear, the chair of the faculty, Dr. Hicks, the staff and faculty of UNCP. I'd also like to welcome Chancellor Cummings to his first convocation. Many of us welcome the change in leadership that you represent, and we're very excited, looking forward to working with you. Also, thanks to the Lumbee people whose homeland this university sits upon. I appreciate all you for giving me this opportunity. Take his hat off. So I'm not sure how far down the list they had to go to get me, but you stuck with me for a little bit, so don't be leaving. All right, there's some stuff to say. I want to dedicate this brief talk to my parents, Margaret and Eugene Peters. I might be living the dream they had for me, but they lived the dream that I carried. So hopefully by the end you'll understand what I'm talking about. Dr. Schaub's right, we are a community. I tell my students that on the first day of class. And here we're a community. We're going to talk to each other. We're going to respect each other. We're going to explore stuff together. That sounds kind of corny sometimes, but I think if you embrace that, positive change will occur and you will be shaped in positive ways. You have to navigate this community that you're entering into, UNC Pembroke. It will be different, it will be challenging, and it will be scary. It will be. It probably already is. But it can be perhaps the most meaningful time in your whole life. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my story. They said I only have like an hour, so I'm going to go quick. I want to tell you a little bit about my journey, but I also want to tell you some secrets to success, because there's one thing that I think most of the folks here who know me would say is that I will tell you the truth. So I don't know if these folks behind me look scared now or not. Hopefully they don't. So let's start with this quote from Paulo Freire, who was a very noted teacher and scholar of education and learning. And he said this: through dialogue, the teacher of the students and the students of the teachers cease to exist. And a new term emerges, teacher-student with students-teachers. The teacher is no longer merely the one who teaches, but one who is himself taught in dialogue with the students, who in turn, while being taught, also teach. They become jointly responsible for a process in which all grow. So think about that. We're in this thing together, and if we both approach it that way, I think it'll be a much more productive environment. We're in it together. So, how did I get up here today to be able to tell you that? I'm going to start with a little anecdote about a group of guys I play golf with. I play golf. And one of the guys in the group, he always walks in your line, he gets in front of you, he talks while you're trying to hit, but he has a good time. Now this irritates a lot of people in the group. And one of my other friends always says, he's not a golfer, he's a farmer. And he is a farmer, actually. And he says that with some cuss words, which I won't say today because I just met the chancellor. But he says that, and that always hurts my feelings when he says that. He's a good friend of mine, and I love him, but it hurts my feelings because by all indications, as Dr. Schaub told you, I should have been a farmer too. I'm not just a first generation college student, I'm an only generation college student. As far as I can find, everybody has been a laborer, a sharecropper, a farmer, something. So I feel connected to that world beyond just growing up on a farm. So it hurts my feelings a little bit. I don't think he means anything by it. So my parents, my father's birthday was yesterday. He's 83 years old. He was born in 1932. Think about that. That sounds like a long time ago to you, doesn't it? Very long. He and my mother, who's 80, they grew up on sharecropping farms. They picked cotton by hand, they plowed with mules, they took the wagon to town. And they've seen a lot of changes in the world. Think about what they've seen. They've seen the shift from horses and mules to cars. They saw cars to spacecraft, to people going to the moon. phones and televisions and electricity in all homes just about in the United States. Cell phones, computers, human face transplants, Facebook. And now my mom is on Facebook. I don't know if y'all faced that problem yet, but my mother, who's 80, is on Facebook, so I have to be careful now. So I grew up on that farm. They moved to South Georgia. I'm going to run you through this pretty quick. They bought part of an old plantation, and my dad fixed up what was old slave quarters and then sharecropping cabins. And that's where we lived. No underpinning, no running water, an outhouse. I lived that way for 5 or 6 years while he was building our other house. Some of that was made worse because my brother got hit on his dirt bike by a truck way out there in the country and spent a year in a body cast and in a wheelchair. So we had early trauma, isolated in the rural country. And I'm talking about a country that y'all would be scared of if you went there. I mean, when it got dark, it was dark. We had to use 2 flashlights. So dark. My earliest memory in the world is of a rattlesnake in the front yard. That's the truth. I think about that a lot. That's as far back as I can go, is being scared of this huge rattlesnake in our front yard. So I'm not from town. I grew up hunting and fishing, working on the farm, working on cars, all this stuff. So how did I end up doing these things? Well, the truth is that my parents liked education. My father went to the 7th grade. He dropped out because he had to work on the farm. And finally, when he could, he just quit going. I think he was 14. My mother did graduate high school. She was a valedictorian in her class. But they liked learning. And they gave my brother and I time to do the things we wanted to do. So we didn't have to do so much farm work. And I appreciate that. That's a lucky thing for me. It gave me a chance to choose something, right? When I finally did go to college, as Dr. Schaub said, I met these professors who changed my world. I was very intimidated. It doesn't sound like it today, but I had a Georgia accent. Don't be laughing, Colin. It used to be a lot thicker. But there were, and I went to Emory. You read that in the bio, which is a very kind of elitist school. It costs a lot to go there. I don't even know how I ended up there. I took out a bunch of loans, which I still pay back to this day. But I just kind of took advice from people who gave it to me. And so I went, and I stayed, even though I had been a very successful high school student. I was not successful to start with in college. It was hard. I was not prepared. I didn't know how to study. I was lazy. I may still be a little lazy, but I didn't know how to study. And I started to become pushed in new ways, and faculty took an interest in me. It was a strange place, and coming from a small town, it was super strange to be there. And a lot of you are going to feel this way, but we're going to be there to help you. And that's the truth. That's part of the truth I'm telling you. The faculty who helped me, and I do want to list their names: Lucas Carpenter, Homer Sharp, Ina Jane Wundrum, Gretchen Schultz, Sally Wolf, Mike McQuaid, Judy Greer, Ron Schuhart. And those are sociologists, and biologists, psychologists, and a coach, and some English professors. But they took the time to really teach me that learning was important, and they also told me that I could do it. Sometimes you need to believe that. Honestly, I don't even remember the names of the chancellors and the deans and those people, no offense to y'all. But I don't know who those people were. I could look it up, but who I know are those people in the classroom who took some interest. And I think you're going to find that here at this university. So, what I'm telling you right now, what I think everybody today is trying to tell you, is that we believe in you. And that's not a joke, and it's not a lie. The faculty believe in you. These are my colleagues and friends on the sides, well, most of them. But they believe in you. They believe that you can do it. And we're going to ask things of you. Some people might say, oh, we're going to ask a lot of you, but we're not. You may think it's a lot, but it's not. There are just things that we ask, that we expect as you take this journey, and we believe in you. So here's some advice today on how to succeed. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. Remember that education does not just happen to you. It does not just happen to you. You can't just go to class and sit there and become educated. So what do I mean by that? Here are the things you can do to take a part in your education. Recognize the chances you get and take advantage of them. This may be a chance right now that you got in, that you managed to pay for it, that you had somebody told you to go. Now take advantage of it. You're here. Make smart choices. That will be difficult. College can be fun. There are parties. I don't know if y'all heard, but there are parties. There are distractions. There are social things to do with people that you might like to hang out with. But don't always choose that. Choose some of that. Choose it. Have a good time. But don't always choose it. Because you can have fun your whole life. Right now, the main goal really is to get this degree that you want. Be engaged. Don't leave when people are talking. Ask questions. Go to class and wonder about stuff. Take that interest. Sometimes you have to pretend to be interested. I told you I was going to tell you the truth. You have to pretend to be interested, and that can be a good thing. And it's a skill you're going to need, believe me. I want you to decide that you want to learn. Not what you want to learn, but that you do want to learn things. Okay? It's a big step. It sounds like a little step, but it's not. When you decide that you want to learn, you will. Try new things. All kinds of things. Be open to difference. Be comfortable with discomfort. This is not a place where we're going to tell you everything you already know, right? Obviously. Some of the stuff will disturb you, make you think. You'll ponder what you hear, what you come in contact with. That is a good thing. Try it. This one's important to me. Learn something about the history of this school, of the Lumbee community, and about indigenous peoples through the state, nation, and world. All right? There are worldviews and philosophies there that everyone needs to learn from. As my late friend and mentor in graduate school wrote one time, we must learn to ask the trees and stones for permission to take them into our lives for our survival. And we have to lay ourselves close to the earth for a long, patient time in order to see the powerful reality that is before us and part of us. Such closeness of vision, reciprocity, and respect are powerful medicines, the only medicines that may perhaps save humanity from itself. This is a lesson Native Americans and all indigenous peoples really do have to teach, and it is time the world began listening carefully. Take an American Indian Studies course while you're here. It's one of the few universities on this side of the Mississippi where you can. Do it. It's an opportunity. Respect yourself and those around you. Make choices that are good for you and for the people around you. Many of you, like me, are here for more than just yourself, or at least you should be. You're representing your families and your communities. Sometimes that's a weight to carry, but you can carry it, and you should. You're here for other people. Don't be ashamed of where you come from. Sometimes when we start to learn things and be different, we turn our back on who we were when we were younger. Don't do that. It's an important part of who you are. My parents are smarter than I'll ever be. It doesn't make any difference to me how much formal education they have. They are. And finally, remember why you are here. And that's not something I can tell you. You've got to figure that out. But you need to know. A lot of times when I ask students, why are you here? They say to get a job. And I understand that. We need to provide for our families and ourselves. But you know, I think a better approach may be to answer that question with the phrase, to learn things. You will get a job and a degree, even if you're here to learn things. So think about that. That's an important difference. So, back to the golf group. I have another friend who I play golf with who's from Robeson County. I've known him for 12 years. He's 72 years old. He and I connected. I guess I'd give you that advice too. Be friends with people who are a lot older or younger than you are. Don't let age define your friendships and your relationships. Anyway, this person, he worked on farms as a child. He tells me about living in a community where he faced racism and segregation. But he did all right. He got a divinity degree from Wake Forest. He preached. He taught public school, science. He taught Chanson Cummins and Provost Locker. Some of you will recognize his father's name. His father, English Jones, name is on the athletic board. His father was the chancellor of this university. So what I'm saying with that is a couple of things. If I can become a professor, my friend Steve Jones, a teacher, Dr. Cummins, a physician, now our new chancellor, then you should know that you have great potential. You have this potential. There's not necessarily anything very special about us. And in some ways it boils down to love, taking advantage of the opportunities we have and trying to accomplish something for other people. I'm also saying that the world is small in many ways, that there are connections and intersecting circles all around us, around you, that we move in these communities and we must recognize our own roles and our own potentials. We must give the hand just as we take the hand from other people. I love UNCP precisely because it is the type of place that cares about students. It is a place where I get to students who are just like me, unsure, uncertain, sometimes unprepared, but willing to try. Now, we'll fail you though if I need to. So that's the truth. So don't get me wrong, my colleagues will do that too, but I don't want to, and neither do they. Those that help us make us who we are, and those we help make us who we are. They give us stories that we hold on to, and if we're lucky, we see ourselves through their eyes. For those reasons, I think that teachers have the most important jobs in the world. So remember, education does not simply happen to you. Take this journey with us. We will teach you, you will teach us. As Freire said, we are jointly responsible for a process in which all grow. And believe me today when I say we want you to succeed. So have a good year, and we'll see you in class.